Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the exceptionally rare Fairy-type Pokemon Togepi, the Spike Ball Pokémon, its equally rare Fairy-Flying-type evolution Togetic, the Happiness Pokémon, and its final, also equally rare evolution Togekiss, the Jubilee Pokémon. While they might appear to be exceptionally cute and friendly, the members of the Togepi family can still put up a decent fight if given the chance to really show what potential they have.
Togepi have a cream-colored body with digitaless hands and two-toed feet they slowly walk around on, with orange-brown eyes and a series of spikes that line the perimeter of the top of their head. Their bodies are contained within their eggshell, which is patterned with red and blue triangle markings and is worn perpetually by them for defense. Their evolved form, Togetic, no longer have their shells attached to them, but still display its motif on their lower bodies, with the same types of upper and lower limbs that have merely become larger in size. They now have a long neck that connects their head to their torso, and they sport a pair of white wings on their back. Their final evolution, Togekiss, have a slightly altered color scheme with the same markings, but also the addition of a three-part head crest with a red and blue segment on each side, the center being pure white in color. They sport a series of tail feathers, and their upper limbs have fused with their wings to become a single structure, allowing them to soar through the air higher and longer than their pre-evolved forms ever could. Before one can begin to analyze the members of the Togepi family, it is important to acknowledge that while they are considered to be exceptionally rare in most parts of the world, something that isn't helped by the 7-to-1 gender ratio skewed in favor of males, there is one place in the world where they are relatively plentiful, the Mirage Kingdom of the Hoenn region. Ruled by a king and queen as a separate sovereignty in the region, the Mirage Kingdom has essentially built upon this family of Pokemon and has all of its laws and practices built upon their powers, particularly those of Togepi. While relatively lax in the eyes of most strangers, the Mirage Kingdom has not always been the most peaceful of places, partially because a member of royalty must locate a Togepi for their own possession before they would be allowed to assume the throne upon their predecessor's demise. Many years ago, this law led to a bloody conflict that nearly tore the kingdom apart and effectively established many of the kingdom's current rules of conduct among citizens. Unfortunately, details about the conflict are beyond scarce, as kingdom officials prefer not to talk about the incident because of its brutality.
Regardless, the Mirage Kingdom is a sought-after place for visiting tourists because of its unique cultural constructs and luxurious main temple devoted entirely to Togepi, making the arduous journey required to locate it more than worth the risk for most.
This type of abnormal environment can likely be blamed for giving them a hardy personality, even if they can sometimes be easily spooked, with this and their abnormal fairy-type powers granting them access to hustle and serene grace as base abilities, and super luck as a hidden ability. In looking at their stats, in particular Togekiss, it can be said that they are surprisingly powerful and have strong bodies that can do a great deal in battle when needed. Though their base speed stat is below average for a fully evolved flying-type Pokemon, and the base attack stat is below average for both a fully evolved fairy and flying-type Pokemon, everything else is above average, lending them impressive power and the capacity to decently tank hits to make them a difficult fighter to take down with conventional attacks or strategies. As amazing as it may sound, Togepi and the evolutions are among the only known non-psychic type Pokemon that use emotions as a source of energy. In their case, their primary source of power is happiness. The reasoning behind this bizarre choice of power sources is relatively easy to understand when one considers the fact that Togepi have no real useful offenses aside from a weak poison that they can release from their spiked heads, and do not learn any truly offensive moves until relatively late in their life. Aside from making hunting pointless, this disadvantage also makes Togepi defenseless against predators, eliminating any form of safe scavenging.
Since their cute appearance is enough to melt the hearts of most creatures though, absorbing positive emotions for power is a perfectly feasible way of life for Togepi.
More importantly though, Togepi often store excess positive energy within their shells, which serve as the only form of decent defense, either in case of emergency situations or, if they are feeling especially happy, to share with others that treat them kindly out of sheer gratefulness. As such, Togepi have become revered symbols of happiness and good luck worldwide, and are often given to others as precious gifts. Oddly enough, there are even some who believe that anyone who makes a sleeping Togepi stand will be brought happiness in the future, though the exact reasoning behind this proverb is still a relative mystery. As Togepi grow and develop among trainers, their mindsets change to fit those of their trainers more closely, particularly in terms of how they treat others. If a Togepi is owned by a trainer that cares only about their personal well-being, then the Togepi in question will act similarly and will probably never evolve. If they are raised by a kind-hearted trainer that cares about everyone, however, Togepi will eventually begin to want to share the happiness with everyone they meet, facilitating the evolution into Togetic and the acquisition of the Fairy Wind attack immediately afterwards. Although Togetic do have wings and flap them on occasion, Togetic are actually assisted in flight more so by a potent electromagnetic field generated by the Fairy Force powers, which grants them levitation. Togetic are exceptionally friendly towards people and will gladly fly across the world day and night in order to find kind-hearted people. Once said people are located, Togetic sprinkle a strange powder referred to as joy dust onto them before leaving, which is nothing more than body dandruff infused with concentrated packets of positive emotional energy.
Needless to say, this has made Togetic a symbol of good fortune worldwide and an equally popular choice among high-class hospitals that can afford to have such rare Pokemon around.
However, it should be noted that Togetic are not eternally happy and in fact will grow dispirited if they cannot locate someone to share the happiness with. If this goes on for too long, a Togetic will eventually be unable to produce joy dust and will die from stress-induced depression. When exposed to the radiant energy of a shiny stone, Togetic undergo rapid cellular mutation and become completely dependent upon flight for mobility and evolving into Togekiss, as the small legs are virtually worthless for walking. While Togekiss still rely on a potent electromagnetic field produced by their brains as their primary field for above-ground flight, their more conventional anatomical orientation allows them to specialize even more so in the features that make flyers powerful, namely movement speed and agility, while still maintaining relatively high special stats. As such, Togekiss are able to learn several new potent attacks, specifically Tri-Attack, Extreme Speed, Aura Sphere, Sky Attack, and Air Slash, the last of which they gain access to immediately after evolving, that are otherwise beyond the capabilities of their pre-evolutions. Although they are quite powerful, Togekiss are rather timid and despise conflict, avoiding it whenever they possibly can. In fact, Togekiss will never show their faces in places where strife is occurring. Needless to say, this has made Togekiss exceptionally rare in past decades and has nearly put them on an endangered species list. The only thing that's keeping them off the list is the fact that no one is really certain how many are actually in the world. When Togekiss come upon towns or cities that they deem to be relatively free of strife and filled with people who respect each other's rights, these creatures will vigorously sprinkle joy dust everywhere before departing. Not surprisingly, this has made Togekiss a symbol of both good fortune and peace worldwide since ancient times.
Getting a hold of one of these creatures might be an arduous task, but the members of the Togepi family can more than prove their mettle in and out of battle if one is willing to take the time to truly raise them. It may be a bit of a journey to bring out the best that they can offer, but the effort could be more than worth it for those that are looking to use these magical creatures to dazzle and decimate the opposition.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure that you keep them as happy as possible if you want them to remain healthy and in good shape as a whole, as there are few things as sad as seeing one of these creatures being sad and depressed just because those around them are struggling to find a reason to be happy themselves.
Thank you all for watching this video. It is always a pleasure to help teach others about the world of Pokemon and the many facets of it that exist in both the world we call home and the world they call home. If you'd like, please leave a comment and subscribe and ring the bell to this channel to get regular updates on content and anything else that might be going on. You can find me and my written work on DeviantArt under the name Utitus and be informed of information and content uploads on my Twitter page and my Patreon page. Donations are always welcome. Always remember, the world of Pokemon is a vast and varied place, and there's no telling what secrets might be hiding just around the corner. So keep watch, stay vigilant, and always prepare for the unexpected. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.